It's just such a gratifying feeling being able to give these kids an opportunity that maybe somebody else wouldn't. It's just an awesome feeling.
When you give, you somewhat get back, so that's one of the reasons that we like this program.
Most of our kids are pretty outgoing. We have a couple that are a little bit more reserved and shy, but for the most part they're all happy to see everybody and high-fiving customers and helping them find anything that they need.
You hear all positive comments. Thank you, that you give them a change, because they know they're part of the DB group.
For the most part, been nothing but amazing feedback from our customers. We've had, one or two who come in and don't really understand, then once we explain to them the program that we've got going on are immediately on board.
It gets them ready, it gets them engaged with people, because we have a lot of customers here. And when you engage and then you understand the task of it, really that's what it's about.
It's not just job placements for these students, but this is a positive, impactful thing for our community.
And they know when they get done, they're going to be better than they were before, because they'll be engaged in possibly getting a job with a paycheck.
This makes Kingsport a better place to live, because we have more positive settings for not just our students with disabilities, but everybody who lives here.
They know that I have the same expectations for them as I do for my employees. And that's something that I established with them day one. Look, if you're gonna be here and you're gonna work here, these are my expectations. I expect 100% from each of you every day. I know that there's gonna be days where we're not gonna be able to give that, but that's still my expectation. So we've got to figure out how to get you there.
Another key component is we want our students to be reliable, accountable. They have to be able to show up to a job. They've got to know that if they're sick, or if they can't be there, that they have to learn how to call in and notify the employer ahead of time. Things that a lot of our students that they don't think about unless they receive that coaching, to help them realize how important that is. That they'll lose their job if they don't call in, if they don't notify their employers.
We have a lot of employers that come back to us and say, I wish all of our students acted like the kids that come from this transition program, because attendance means something to them. Being on time means something to them. If they have a uniform, they're very proud of having a uniform, and they're very proud of their job. And it's not something you just do till you go and find another job. You do the best you can and then you move on.
It's taken a lot of just teaching, just having patience to be able to say, okay, then that's not the right way to do that. Let's do it this way. You've got this.
Wednesday.
So what are we going to do today?
Clean.
And that's your crew. So we're going to clean all the carts and making sure that, once again, that I'm taking the time to learn each kid and being able to figure out what each kid has to offer and making them shine.
Some students can handle more job tasks, whereas some students can only handle a couple job tasks. We're differentiating on their ability. If they can handle more, we'll give them more. If they can only handle one or two, that's what we give them. And that's a challenge for those students. If it's just 2 job tasks, it may be a challenge for them. And that we want them to learn how to master those and be independent with those job tasks as much as possible.
When you put them in a situation and they practice each and every day, a month from now, if they do it 4 days a week times 4, you're looking at 16. You're looking at someone that is different than when they started.
We don't want to burden the businesses by putting kids on them and having them work with our students all the time. And basically, we felt like that if we just send our students out with those businesses, that they might end up being just a shadow. They would just kind of follow people around, not actually get to see what it's like to be a real employee. So with the Work Readiness Specialist, they're kind of that liaison to find out what the work tasks are and show the students how to go to their supervisor, find out what work tasks they need to do that for that day, and then help them along with that process. And over time, that Work Readiness Specialist starts to back off and allow that student to be more independent, just like they were if they were going to be on their own holding a job by themselves. The students, when they first get there, they don't know what it's like to have a job. They don't know what it's like to communicate with their coworkers or communicate with their supervisors. So that Work Readiness Specialist is there to help them grow and help them learn how to do those things. They're there, like you said, as kind of an ambassador, a liaison site, as a reminder to do these things. And this, you need to go look at your job task list every day. You need to communicate with your supervisor and find out what you need to do. You need to communicate with the customer. So they're there as like a reminder, and they're job coaching them. They're coaching them on the job of the skills that they need to do, and as a reminder for them. And then they back off as time goes on. And then what we do is when those students have mastered those job tasks, we try to give them more challenging job tasks. And then so then the work readiness specialist steps back in again and then gives them the training and coaching on how to do that next job task, and then starts to back off again when they get more independent. A lot of our students are shy and maybe don't want to ask for help, and that's one thing the work readiness specialist works on them with, because they want to come to the work readiness specialist and ask them for help. And the work readiness specialist really encourage those students that they're just there to help give them some coaching, but they're not there as their coworker. That if they need help, they need to go to their coworker and ask for help, just like they would be if they're on the job. If there's a heavy bag they can't lift, or there's a job that they don't know how to do, they need to, instead of trying to do it themselves and maybe hurting themselves or messing up whatever it is that they're doing, they need to learn how to go ask a coworker for help.
I like lists. I think that it's easy for someone to have ownership in something if they have something to go by. So I originally made a list for the AM group and the PM group, just like I do for my employees, for them to be able to sign off on, so that they're completing things. And so we tried that for the first few weeks, and I noticed that our afternoon class, they had a little bit more of restrictions compared to my morning class. So I went home and kind of brainstormed on what can I do to help my afternoon kids succeed? How can we get around this? So I looked at the things that they were doing really, really well and try to come up with a list of things that they could do around that. So my afternoon kids do a lot more cleaning stuff. They do a lot more things where they're not necessarily around a whole bunch of people so that they can focus on what they're doing. They do the same things on the same days, which has also helped with them repetition. Because I'm wanting them to get to where they can come in, they look at their list, they know exactly what they got to do, they know where to go get the materials that they need to do what their tasks are, being able to do them, and then being able to put their stuff up within the time frame that they're going to be here. So that way it gives them a real work expectation, timeline, and then completion. So I feel like that's really helping them grow.
And so we'll go sit down with the employer and say, there's a certain job task that maybe you're having a hard time getting your employees to do, like maybe some different cleaning tasks that they're so busy doing other things that they have a hard time doing these certain things. And we'll set up a task list that maybe will benefit that employer and come up with 3 things that this student could do every single day. And they'll do those same jobs every single day. And the employer has found out and realized how much they've benefited from that at their job site. And we've even had people wanting to hire kids just to do those tasks. We have one student right now who works at Shoney's. The waitresses and the waiters, they roll the silverware at Shoney's. She was somebody that could really do well with one job task and do it well. So we brought her in and asked if she could just roll the silverware for them. Well, they were getting behind on rolling their silverware, and when she comes in, she goes and gets the silverware on her own, gets all the things that she needs, the napkins, washes her hands, gets all that on her own, sits down with it, and we'll roll 30 pieces of silverware within an hour and go and put all that pieces of silverware back, put everything back where it needs to go, and that saves those waitresses a lot of time, and it allows those waitresses and waiters to be able to focus more on their customers and be able to wait their tables better. And so it's made their restaurants made them more efficient, and it's made them a more positive place because they're able to interact with their customers more, while this one student takes the silverware and gets it ready for them every single day.